I'm going to show you how to turn this into this. Hi, my name's Sally, and among a few other things, I dabble in the DIY world. And today I'm going to be showing you how to make this IKEA hack room divider. We're actually making this for a friend of mine who also creates content. She has a door in this location of her house that she wants to film in, but wants something aesthetic in front of it. So we came up with this idea of making a room divider. She actually sent me some inspiration from online, and oh my goodness, ouch, the price, it hurts. So that's why today we're going to be making this affordable version from IKEA, which I personally think doesn't even look like an IKEA side shelving unit when we're done with it. It doesn't look like a hack at all. It actually looks like something that you've purchased from online and is meant to be like this. So I'm really excited to show you what it's going to look like. So let's get started.
Start by measuring the door or the area that needs to be covered by the divider to ensure that the IKEA shelves with the right height are purchased for this hack. We'll be using the IKEA Ivar shelving unit sides with a height of 226 centimeters for this hack to cover the door. Now, let's go to IKEA.
Okay, now that we have the IKEA sides that we needed, I'm going to show you the rest of the supplies that we're going to need for this IKEA hack.
You will need a measuring tape, trim, clamps, pin nails, a hammer, miter shears, staple gun and staples, a strong glue, fine grit sandpaper, a pencil, box cutter, screwdriver, wood tint or a wax of choice, and a lint-free rag, scissors, burlap, an iron, and some hinges. Once you have all your supplies ready, you want to prepare the frames by removing any stickers and sanding away any blemishes and scratches with a finer grit sandpaper. I used 200 grit sandpaper for this. Then, with a damp microfiber cloth, wipe away the remaining dust and debris caused by the sanding. This step is optional, but you can use some wooden trim to cover the holes. I think it gives the project a cleaner and more refined look and is a much easier solution than using wood filler to fill the holes, which you will still see in the end once the filler is dry. Place the trim over the holes and mark the length so you know where to cut it to size. Then, using miter shears or a saw, you can cut the trim to the length of the frame and then use a strong glue, like this liquid nails, to attach the trim. Make sure to use the clamps so that the trim stays in place while the glue dries. Wipe away any excess glue before it dries. To make extra sure the trim stays in place, hammer in some nails along the trim where there aren't any holes from the frame.
Now that we've finished covering the holes in the front part of the frame, it's time to work on what I consider the fun part of this tutorial, which is staining the wood. The beauty about these Ivar sides or the Ivar collection is that it's untreated solid wood and it is pine from what I read, and super easy to stain and change up to the kind of color that you want. I'm going to be using my favorite stain, which is this Brie Wax in the color Tudor Brown. It doesn't require any conditioning or base coat or top coat. And because the dividers are like not a high traffic area, like it's just going to be, a room divider where there's not a lot of things passing through it, we don't really have to worry about protecting the wood. I think it'll give it a nice matte kind of finish. And I'll show you how to do that now.
I used some garbage bags to protect the table that I was working on. I would suggest staining the wood in a well-ventilated area. Because I don't have access to that, I used a filtered face mask to protect myself from the fumes and gloves to protect myself from the stain. I love working with Brie Wax stain because it's just so easy to work with. I apply the stain using an old cotton t-shirt that I cut up into small squares. One small rag for applying the stain and then one clean rag for buffing off the excess stain. but be sure to check the stain bottle that you're using for all the application and drying instructions.
Okay, now that we've finished staining the wood, it is time to add the fabric to the back of the frame. I'm going to be using burlap for this particular design. There are two ways I think that you could put the burlap or attach the burlap to this frame. The first one is just stapling it to the outside of the frame, or you could give it more of a refined and clean look and less of an IKEA hack look by covering the hole. So we're going to use the wooden trim that we have and the burlap to conceal the back holes, and I'm going to show you how to do that now. I forgot to mention, it makes it a little bit harder doing it this way, but I think the look is just going to be a lot nicer and a lot less IKEA. Let's see.
Here I have the trim for the back of the frame, which I have already cut to size and stained, but I'll keep this aside and tend to the burlap first. Place the frame on the burlap and roughly cut the burlap, making sure to leave some excess. Once the burlap is cut, use an iron to remove any folds or creases in the fabric. Using a staple gun, you can attach your burlap to the frame. The easy way, as I mentioned earlier, is to attach the burlap to one side of the frame as shown. However, in this tutorial, we're going to do it in a way that covers the holes. Start in one corner of the frame and add a staple, lifting the burlap to make sure you don't staple into the holes. Then staple 3 staples into the top of the frame to secure that end. Then work your way down the frame, making sure to check as you go that you staple between the holes. If a staple doesn't go in all the way and is slightly protruding, you can use a hammer to make sure that it has been flattened properly. Once you reach the other end of the frame, trim the excess from the stapled side you have completed. Enough so it's not showing past the frame, but also not too close to the staple where then the burlap won't stay in place. Next, grab your prepared trim and glue it above the stapled burlap to tidy up your work. I found it easier to lean my frame against the wall so then I could easily hammer in the nails along this trim. This time, you can't see where the holes in the frame are, so just slowly work your way down, hammering your nails every inch or so to ensure you secure this side of the trim as best as possible. Then use a box cutter, also known as a Stanley knife, to conceal any excess burlap that may be sticking out. Now that the burlap is secured to the top and to one side of the frame, you can pull it tight enough to then staple it to the other side. Make sure to pull it tight, but not too tight so that the other side doesn't rip out, working your way down slowly until you reach the base of the frame. Once you reach the base, place 3 staples into the end to complete the burlap attachment. Then repeat the trim placement like before with the glue and nails. Since this is the back of the divider, you don't need to do this step either, but again, I think it gives the project a more professional look. I used some excess stained trim with some glue to conceal the stapled burlap at the top and the bottom of the frame, using clamps to hold the trim in place while the glue dries. See how much neater the whole project looks now? Once you've attached the burlap to all 3 frames, you want to line them up to make sure they're all facing the right direction. Then, fold them together as if they had the hinges already on them so that you are sure to attach the hinges on the correct side of the frames. Lay 2 frames on their side and then use painter's tape to hold them close together on the side that you want to be installing the hinges. I measured approximately where I wanted the hinges to be and have the details written in a blog post linked in the description box below. Use a pencil to mark the hinge locations and then use a screwdriver to screw them in. The wood is so soft so there is no need to create any holes with the drill first. Just a little muscle with a screwdriver and you're good to go. Now stand up the two sides to make sure you've done it right. Grab the third frame and follow the same steps again to attach the third frame with the hinges. I have linked all the supplies that I use for this project in the description box below.
Okay, I finished putting in the last hinge. So let's see if this works. Turned out. All right, now that we're done, let's take it from my friend to see the final reveal. Look.
Okay, look.
Yeah, look. I'm scared. No pressure. Oh! Is it what you expected?
It's so much bigger than I expected, which is better. Yeah. And the wood color is perfect.
It is?
It's not too boho.
No. I tried to make it as chic as
It has
possible.
character.
Thank you.
Hi everybody. This is my whole pajama look. If you want.
Wait, I only need a second to figure out what I'm going to say.
Thank you guys for watching, and we hope that you found this video beneficial. Sally hopes that you found this video.
Hey guys, I hope you found this tutorial helpful and easy to understand. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment box below. If you make one, please tag us, Sally Sarah Clark or Eslima.
And as an official YouTuber now, you have to say, don't forget to like and subscribe
I never
for
say
more
that.
amazing content.
Listen to her.
No, she's done such an amazing job. It's amazing. Mashallah, mashallah. Thank you so much. Pivot.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you don't watch Friends. You won't get the joke.
I don't get the joke. Are you recording?
You can put that in because half of the world loves Friends.
I don't like Friends, so I don't know
say
how
that.
many of you
Don't
will
say that. You want people to like you.
Yes.
Okay. Oh my goodness, we look like polar opposites. But our friendship works, so what?
It works.